This story was sent to me by someone that wished to remain anonymous, and it talks about his experience with the paranormal in a rural road. Now, hit that like button if you believe in ghosts, and subscribe if you don't, because either way, you'll need a friend on these dark, rural roads. But before we begin, sit comfortably, dim the lights, turn the volume up, and listen to what the world has to say. Now, let's begin. It was a warm summer evening in 2008. The kind of night where the humidity clings to your skin and the cicadas create a constant background hum. I had just finished a long shift at the local diner and was ready to head home. My drive took me down an old country road, a shortcut I often use to avoid the main highway's late night traffic. Little did I know, this night would be anything but ordinary. As I pulled out of the diner's gravel parking lot, the sky was already darkening. The road was a narrow, winding path through dense woods, barely wide enough for two cars to pass. I'd driven this road countless times without incident, but tonight a strange sense of unease settled over me. About 10 minutes into the drive, I noticed a thick fog rolling in, unusual for this time of the year. The mist clung to the trees and crept across the road, reducing visibility to just a few feet. I slowed down, squinting to make out the road ahead. Then, out of nowhere, I saw her. Standing in the middle of the road was a woman, dressed in a flowing white gown that seemed to glow in the dim light. I slammed on the brakes, my heart pounding in my chest. The car screeched to a halt just inches from where she stood. She didn't move. She didn't even flinch. I rolled down my window, my voice trembling as I called out to her. "Ma'am, are you okay? Do you need help?" She slowly turned her head to look at me, and that's when I saw her face, pale and gaunt, with dark, hollow eyes that seemed to bore into my soul. A chill ran down my spine, and I felt an overwhelming sense of dread. This was no ordinary woman. Before I could react, she vanished. One moment she was there, and the next she was gone, leaving only the swirling fog behind. My hands were shaking as I gripped the steering wheel, trying to process what I'd just seen. Had I imagined it? Was I losing my mind? Determined to get home as quickly as possible, I pressed on, the eerie encounter still fresh in my mind. But the night was far from over. A few miles down the road, the fog grew even thicker, and I struggled to see more than just a few feet ahead. Suddenly, my car's radio, which had been playing softly, cracked with static. The hair on the back of my neck stood up as a faint whispering filled the car. It was as if a dozen voices were speaking all at once, their words indistinguishable, but filled with urgency. I reached over to turn off the radio, but the whispers grew louder, more insistent. My heart raced as I fought to stay focused on the road. And then I felt it. A cold, clammy hand on my shoulder. I screamed, jerking the car to the side. The hand vanished as quickly as it had appeared, leaving me gasping for breath. I pulled over to the side of the road, my entire body shaking. There was no one else in the car. I was completely alone. Or so I thought. I glanced in the rear view mirror, and my blood ran cold. In the back seat, I saw the woman again, her hollow eyes staring back at me. She leaned forward, her face inches from mine, and whispered, "Turn back." In a blind panic, I threw the car into gear and sped off, desperate to escape whatever this was. The fog closed in around me, and the whispers returned, filling the car with their eerie cacophony. I could barely see the road, my vision blurred with fear and tears. Just when I thought I couldn't take it anymore, the fog began to lift. The whispers faded, and the night grew still. I glanced in the rear view mirror again, and the woman was gone. My heart pounded in my chest as I drove the final miles to my house, never once looking back. When I finally pulled into my driveway, I sat in the car for a long moment, trying to calm my racing heart. The events of the night seemed surreal, like a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. But the cold hand on my shoulder and the woman's chilling whispers were all too real. I never took that shortcut again. The next day, I heard a local legend about a woman who had died on that road many years ago. A tragic accident that left her spirit restless. Some say she appeared to warn drivers of impending danger, while others believe she's searching for someone to take her place. Whatever the truth may be, I knew one thing for sure. I had come face to face with something beyond this world, a near miss with the other side that I would never forget. Thank you for joining me on this harrowing journey into the unknown. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more spine-chilling tales. And remember, the next time you're driving alone at night, keep an eye on your rear view mirror. You never know who or what might be following you. And remember, you can always reach me on real@gameacademics.vip. Thank you everybody, and good night.